Hey everyone, welcome to our very first podcast episode. It's called Couple Goals.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. I was kind of iffy about the name when Jared brought it up.
Why is that?
I didn't want people to think that we thought we were just a couple goals.
What do we think we are?
I think we think we're just a couple that have been together for a long time and we've just worked through some stuff.
I would say that's the goal.
Yeah.
To be with each other a long time and work through stuff.
Yes. So I guess then it fits perfectly. Perfect.
There you go. So what are we going to talk about? What is on the agenda today?
So I was thinking, because not a lot of people know how we started dating, I figured we'd kind of go over how we met and how we got here.
We met, it was a Friday or a Saturday night. I don't remember the exact day. But a friend of mine was hosting a party. I was there pretty early on in the night. From like 8 p.m. and the party was ending around 2. And it kind of felt like a bust to me, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't very excited. And it was a Pimp Hoe party. So I was all decked out. I had a feather boa on and I was really dressed to impress. And at about, I would guess it was probably 12-ish. You came late, correct?
I believe so. And just for, just to clarify, this was for a Halloween party. I don't think they have Pimp and Hoe's party anymore nowadays.
It depends on who you know, I guess. I don't know people throwing regular Pimp and Hoe parties, but yes, this was a Halloween party.
Yeah, so me and my friend Daisy, we went to this Halloween party that she knew of from a friend, and it was quite a drive from where we lived. We ended up getting there, I think, around 11:30, 12. We didn't know anyone except this one person that she knew, which I don't even think was there. So we arrived, and then I just remember once we got there, we got our drinks, we walked around, and then we went into, I don't know if it was like a sunroom, and you were just dancing or just kind of standing by the double doors in your pimp outfit. I actually tried to get Jared to dance with my friend Daisy. And so he dressed up as a pimp that night, and then my friend Daisy dressed up as a maid, and I went as a nurse.
But real quick, because we do have questions. Sandy posted if you guys had any questions for us, and I'm just going to integrate one here. What was our first, because one of the main questions is how we met, but first impressions of each other when we met. So right when you saw me pimped out dancing, what did you think?
Well, I obviously thought you were good looking. But
okay, duh. But like,
of
what
course.
Besides that?
But I also thought that you were just this
really intelligent.
I don't know if intelligent came off. It was the vibe that was coming off. But you look like a real good time, like a fun dude.
Okay. And my impressions of you, very sexy. I mean, it was a Pimp and Hoe party, so the nurse, I don't think it was how you might find a nurse at a hospital. It was more of a sexy nurse.
But it was tasty. It was like, it wasn't tasteless. Is what it
was tasty. It was tasty. For sure it was tasty. And my first impression is I really enjoy somebody that just has a... Unique is always kind of offensive to you. I think you feel like when I say you have a unique look, you find that offensive. But you just looked unto yourself beautiful. And you look special to me. That was my first impression.
Aww.
Don't get sappy.
That's so sweet.
I know. So that was our first impressions of each other. And so, yes, you asked me to dance with your friend Daisy. Who
yes.
My first impression of, attractive as well. I'm not going to talk shit, but I was more or less interested in Sandy.
Yes. And so we kind of all had a good time. Then we somehow got each other's... No, you got Daisy's number.
No, you kept pushing on me that I needed Daisy's number, and I was like, fuck it. I mean, it's a means to an end, I guess, right now, and I'll take it.
Well, I mean, and I think, too, I was just so self-conscious. I thought, maybe you'd be into somebody more like Daisy than me. So I think that's why I was, like, really pushing her on you. So really what he wanted to tell you is that I'm the one that encouraged Daisy to have all of us go out on, like, a group date.
You actually stole my phone number from Daisy's phone, and I was walking around in Macy's one day, and you called me. And you invited me out for Daisy on a date with you and Daisy and another dude.
That's true, but only because I kind of already got the vibe between you and Daisy and what was there, what was not there. And I don't know,
at some point you felt like it was there. Was that ever the vibe? I mean,
I just thought, hey, these people seem cool. Let's go hang out and see what it is.
So we did that.
We went to the movies.
We did go to the movies. I have a hard time remembering what we saw that night.
You know, me too. But I do remember that night, me and you just making jokes, I think pretty much that whole night.
Yeah, and then I remember leaving with the other gentleman that this double date consisted of. And he was pretty upset that you ignored him the whole time. And he said, I'm probably not going to call her again, dude. I'm cool on that. And in the back of my head, I thought, perfect.
Well, which, that's fine. But Daisy, I think I checked in with Daisy, and I think she was probably feeling the same vibe also about you.
Did she ever have any kind of a vibe for me? I don't get it.
I think Daisy...
my read was there was never any kind of a vibe, and this was a ruse to get to me.
I think Daisy was so invested and involved, and she had just broken up with her long-term boyfriend, and she was kind of going through that. So I don't really think she wanted to even date anybody or wasn't looking into that.
Solid.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So, okay, I think we could keep going, and at some point we'll lead to today, and it'll be a 13-year podcast. However, the next question, what is your ethnicity?
I'm Mexican.
And I'm Irish, and there's actually something between Mexicans and Irish people. There's like a bond that goes far deeper than today, because in our history, we helped each other to get through revolutions.
Really?
Yeah. So if anything, this is, a culmination of a lot of history.
And we were just meant to be.
We were meant to be.
Well, and I'm Hispanic. My parents are from Guanajuato, Mexico. And my parents came out here when they were in their early 20s. So I am first generation Mexican-American here.
Very much so.
Yeah. And I come from a large family and very close.
Yeah, and I really like it because I'm white. And typically speaking, we don't have a lot of family. So it's been very cool to be surrounded by this large Mexican family, to be embraced. And I've really appreciated it. And I enjoy the culture.
Yeah, everybody loves you.
The food is amazing.
Of course.
Chips and salsa are just a regular thing. It's not like a special... At white people's house, you rarely get chips and salsa.
So I do want to get back to this thing of how we met. Or I guess that is how we met, but it's not how we got together. Because I want to say it's very important that we didn't get together right away.
We didn't get together right away.
So after we hung out that time, we ended up just being friends. We just would hang out together, go to the movies. And we did that for about 6 years.
Quite a long time.
On and off. Yeah. And we didn't talk all the time. But when we did, I feel like we were pretty close.
Very much so. I think we would go to each other for like relationship advice and maybe to just hang out and talk. But in the back of my head, I always thought it would be cool to be more than friends.
Well, and then I think what ended up happening was where I wasn't in a relationship, you were in a relationship, and then it kind of went back and forth where then I was in a relationship and you weren't. And then at the end, we had just both gone over a relationship, and then that's how we finally got together.
So if you followed along with that was like one of those math equations.
I think people get it. I think you guys get it. Well, and I think it's like a typical rom-com experience.
Very typical. You try to set me up with your friend. They don't even like me. 6 years later, we're together. And now we're here.
Yeah.
A Mexican and an Irish person.
There it is. From completely two different backgrounds. Here we are.
We grew up like 30 minutes away from each other, though.
Yeah, but totally different.
Yeah, I guess. We were very different. And it's very cool that we get to share those differences with each other and enrich each other's lives.
There you go.
So, I mean, are you good? Are we okay for another question? Or
I think I feel good about that. I guess we can deep dive later on.
We can deep dive because there's not going to be just one episode. So we do have to, like, we're not just going to get naked on the first episode. It's going to be a gradual taking off of the clothes. What is Jared's favorite part of your culture? I think I already kind of said that.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the family aspect. There's a lot more family involved with Mexican people. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you have as many nieces and nephews as I have complete family members. And also, it's just different. Like, white people, later in life, we realize that we want to be around each other. And it seems like you guys just always do. You know what I mean?
We always want to be around each other. And then even when we're irritated, I feel like we still don't want to miss out on moments with each other. So we kind of bear it.
Now, my favorite part of the culture, though, would be that. I think the embracing, the family, the food is incredible. And I think there's not a lot to dislike about it.
Yeah. And I think, too, because when you went to Mexico for the first time, Jared noticed that a lot of the teenagers or even older, like kids would still want to hang out with their parents.
Very rare.
Yeah. And so he did mention that he really, really did like that. And that's something that you don't normally see here in America.
Yeah. Growing up, the goal was always to be out of the house as much as possible and don't eat at home at night if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys wanted to be at home and you were excited to eat dinner together.
Yeah.
That's different. So going to the next question. What's your favorite thing about one another? I'll let you start that. I'll let you talk about me.
Wow. I think my favorite thing about you is
Speak from the heart.
I really think that it's that you just don't give up. And I think that you always try in our relationship. You always give 110%. And I think for longevity, and I think for just even like keeping our connection together for so long, that takes work. And so that is my favorite part about you. But also I think that you just have like such a kind heart. And also because I think you're shameless too. You just like want to have a good time. It doesn't matter if you look silly. And I think that's just as important.
So that was like 3 things.
I know. I couldn't pick one.
If you had to, though, what would it be? I'm shameless. I don't give up on things that I care about. And I think I'm nice or something. What was the other one?
You just have such a kind heart.
Okay, so kind heart, I'm shameless, and I don't give up. So let's eliminate one right away. What are we eliminating right away?
I'm just going to say your loyalty.
So that's another new one.
No, because that's kind of a mix of all 3.
So these 3 led you to the loyalty.
Yeah.
So, okay, add all these together in a dish and you get a loyalty cake.
Yeah, unless your answer is better than mine, then I'll have to rethink about it.
Well, see, you did the whole thing where you gave me an answer where I feel like now I'm replying to like a 4-paragraph text. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to underperform on my answer, but my favorite part about you is you have an amazingly kind heart. And you're very nice and patient, which is something that I don't really have a lot of at times, and you've helped me with that. But you just genuinely care about people for the right reasons. Aww. That would be my favorite part of you.
I feel like that was also 3 things.
No, because you have a genuinely kind heart, and it stems from nothing but just caring about people, and that's a rare thing these days.
I appreciate that. That's so sweet.
And you have, and it leads to you having compassion for people in situations that I feel most wouldn't maybe divulge too much time into, but you're just very passionate for others.
Well, and I think you're also very passionate about others as well.
Yeah, I could be a little bit more crass, I think, with it, and I could be a little bit cynical at times, but you always help me to see that there's layers to it, and I should maybe think deeper than I currently am if I am being cynical. Is what I'm getting at.
We're definitely doing more of these podcast
episodes.
Geez. Look at all these compliments.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So, this last question, this is probably one that will come up like 1,000 times, and there's 1,000 different answers for it that we could give because there's nothing right to say that's just a golden one. But what is the secret to a healthy relationship?
What's the secret? What do you think the secret is?
I think the secret is understanding that there's no such thing as perfection, only the pursuit to be better. And I think as long as you're trying to be better, as long as you're able to be yourself, and as long as the other person is trying to be better, then you're on a winning team. The best teams in history, they lose a couple games during the season. It doesn't mean that they're any less great. It just means that they came back, they regrouped, and the goal is to be better in the next game. If you're striving for growth, then it's impossible not to get better. I think the second one person gives up and, and doesn't try at all, then it gets challenging. Then you're able to rely on each other, but it's just the constant wanting to better yourself. That is what I think is the secret to a healthy relationship.
I agree. I think, how do you create a healthy relationship? And I think that it's really working on yourself as individuals. I think that as long as you start to do stuff that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you're growing as an individual, automatically I think is going to bring a positivity aspect to your relationship. And I think it's going to make you want to work harder at your relationship when things do go bad.
Totally agree.
Because I do feel, at least with marriage and, things that we've gone through, it's really forced me to have to look at myself and how I communicate with you, or just my own personal issues. It's really made me have to dig deep for that. And I think it's just made things better for us.
That's very special.
Ditto.
I think you hit the nail on the head. being in a relationship is two individuals sharing a life, looking to better their own individual selves and the couple as a whole. And if you're working on yourselves, it's kind of hard to go wrong from there.
I think too, for us, we've always tried, even when things were rough or when we feel that the disconnect is, I think we do try to compliment each other or to show our appreciation for each other on a daily basis. And I think also when things have gotten hard, I've learned to, instead of thinking about what's going wrong, think about how things are going right and have that gratitude for that and not be in like the negative mindset.
You got to allow positive thoughts to come into your mind.
Yeah.
If you're going through a moment, because it's all temporary, and the sooner you can start thinking positive, the sooner you get back into a positive mind state altogether, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're our individual person, and we go through our feelings, and we're two separate people, and so we just have to kind of give each other a break and understand that neither one of us is perfect, even though we like to think we are every now and then.
I think when you say I'm perfect, that's just you feeling yourself, but I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. It's like you're feeling confident, you're feeling good, and I think that there's nothing more attractive in another human being than confidence.
I agree. I do agree. And humor.
Or shamelessness, as you would consider
I like
it.
humor. I mean, humor is, the way to my heart. So.
And I think, just even to be funny, it's funnier if you have confidence.
That's true. And I think that it takes confidence to put yourself out there. And if you can kind of make a joke out of yourself, I think, who isn't into that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a funny thought when we were talking, and you said appreciating each other. And I thought you could always tell when a couple is in therapy by how many times they say appreciate within like 20 minutes. If you ever see people out and about in public and they're talking about what they appreciate about each other, or it's like, I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you appreciating me. I appreciate you noticing my appreciation. They're probably in therapy, so just say to those people like, hey, you're killing it. You know what I mean? You're doing good.
I will say it is very hard to appreciate things when you're in like a negative mindset. So I think that's why it sounds so silly, because you don't normally go around telling people like, yeah, I appreciate that about you and I appreciate this. It's like you're actually having to focus on like outside of yourself and see what the other person's doing for you.
It is kind of funny though, because sometimes you could tell they don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I appreciate it. Yeah, me too. I appreciate you appreciating me appreciating it.
I know there's been a few times where I'm trying to grow and you're telling me like A, B, and C, and for me to be like, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate you appreciating me appreciating it. You're killing it.
It's just sometimes our own ego, we have to kind of step aside and appreciate the other person.
And maybe that's another secret to a healthy relationship, is put the ego aside. But that's, again, any advice you give for a relationship also goes for the individual itself. But yeah, put your egos aside.
Yeah.
Appreciate each other, appreciating each other.
And just be grateful.
But yeah, that's all the questions that I had actually written down,
We do have more, but we're going to save them for our next episode.
We are going to save them. So what should people really be expecting? Like this episode, we talked about how we met.
Yes.
We answered, super random, what's our ethnicity questions, like in the middle of
Quick
the story.
fire.
Just a quick random question. And then we talked about things we love about each other, how much we appreciate each other, how much we appreciate each other appreciating each other.
How much we appreciate other people appreciating each other.
And then we appreciate that. And I'm sure you guys appreciate us appreciating that.
And we didn't even get into the long distance dating that we did.
We didn't, because I think that would be another good, probably just segment or topic to talk about, is how do you deal with a long distance relationship?
Yes, and we did that for a few years. So I'm excited to talk about that next.
So if you guys want to ask us that question, we're going to answer it anyways, but we'll answer it.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys asking questions.
For now, do we want to just share celebrating our 13-year anniversary? Someone was really excited to celebrate the 13th year anniversary this year.
Well, I think we both were.
Yes.
So Sandy had messaged me and that's another thing. She tells me what she likes. Sometimes it's hard to figure dinner out, but you do tell me what you like.
There's things I see online and I'll say, this sounds exciting. So I'll shoot him just like a message and say, let's go do this. And you know, even though I'm putting it out there, he's the one that kind of takes the effort of saying, we're going to do it this weekend. I already got tickets. Let's go. So we ended up going to Toscano Gardens.
We did.
And for those of you who don't know, Toscano Gardens is an area in Flint Ridge.
La Canyada Flint Ridge.
Yes. And so it's like a big garden, and they normally decorate for holidays. So for Halloween and for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a community center. So you could be a member there. I'm sure if you're a member, you can go walk the properties whenever you'd like. But they open it to the public certain times of the year, and they have art installations, which this last weekend they had something, and it's running through the month. It's called Carved. So Sandy took some video footage of it.
I'll go ahead and play it here now while we talk about it. But they had one where there was pumpkins everywhere.
And they were not really carved, which would have been more impressive.
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
regardless, it was still pretty impressive. They had different art installations within the pumpkins, like a headless horseman.
They had a headless horseman, and they look like, and you'll see them on the screen, but like scarecrow characters.
Yes.
It was pumpkins for heads.
It was very cool. And then they had like the Day of the Dead, where they had like notes that people written to the ones that they've loved and that had passed on.
They did.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
It was. And then my favorite was they had a moon installation. It looked like a big dome, but as you got closer to it, it definitely looked like a real moon.
I had to ask the security guard. I thought you were fucking with me, and it was just a big light that you wanted to go look at. But it happened to be the moon.
Yeah, and only because it was far away from everything else, but it was very cool. And they had these little rings around trees that when you stepped on the lights, it would change lights. When you
Very
stepped on
interactive. What I would say my favorite installation was, I wouldn't say it had much to do with Halloween, but it was this, it's hard to explain, but think of like a laser light show in the most manual form you could think of, like do. So instead of having laser lights, it was these ropes that were either some sort of like a fiber optic rope or a glow in the dark. And then they strategically placed LED spotlights all around the framing of where the ropes were attached. And they would sync up the lights with the music. Mm-hmm. So you could either sit underneath it in these little gazebos, or you can watch from afar. And it was very captivating. I would say that was my favorite one.
It was definitely relaxing. Maybe the vibration of the music and then the visual aspect of it. It was very cool to kind of... I didn't think I was going to enjoy as much as I did, and I really did enjoy that.
To me, that one was more gearing towards like the psychedelic experience, where the other ones were more themed towards Halloween.
They also had a dragon or a serpent out of like different kind of pumpkins.
It was like a Loch Ness monster.
Yes, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there was like 4 sections where it looked like it was going, in and out of the water, and then the big mouth popping off on the last one. Very cool.
And then my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, because they also had carved pumpkins of different characters, such as like Mario Brothers and Frankenstein and things like that. But my favorite part of it also was, I don't know if you remember, but you're walking through and they had almost like these lanterns. I have a few photos I'll post on here about it, but to me, it kind of gave me that sense of like going through the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. Oh. It was very cool.
I was getting more of like a Shanghai vibe from it. You
know?
Maybe
that too.
That's kind of what I was getting from it.
I love that. That was really pretty.
It was a fun time. I highly recommend anyone go if you're into awesome stuff.
Yes.
Definitely check out Carved at Descanso Gardens. And then they even have soft serve ice cream at the end. If you want to get some soft serve ice cream for only like $10, you can get a decent amount. I would say that it's a decent amount. You might pay close to 10 at Yogurtland for the same amount of ice cream.
I'm pretty sure they give you a ton. I had to give you like half of mine.
All in all, it was amazing. Very happy to be with you for 13 years. We had sushi. Sushi is something that I've really only experienced with you. So we had sushi, which was awesome. And we get another one in June. We get to have our wedding anniversary.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah, so good stuff.
So twice in a year. October is a big month for us, too, because we met in October.
Yeah.
And we started dating in October.
Hence a Halloween party, Pimp Hoe themed.
It was a good time.
But, so... Do you have anything you want to add on, or do you think you want to just land this plane? What are you feeling?
I think I'm ready to land it. I had a great time. I'm excited about our next episode where we dive more into our relationship and then maybe even more questions that we've gotten from people. And who knows, maybe a little longer than 30 minutes.
I definitely had a good time. I'm excited to get this podcast going. I'm excited for the future episodes. And in the comments, let us know what you liked about it, what you'd like to hear us talk more about. And no topic is too crazy.
No.
No question is stupid.
No.
But sometimes there are stupid questions and they're the fun ones.
But those are probably the fun ones, the best ones.
Those are the shameless ones, as you would say.
And no questions too serious.
Some questions are like too serious.
No questions are too serious.
You know, okay, fuck it. Ask the most serious question. How about this? 3 comments, a relationship question, the stupidest question you could think of, and the most serious question you could think of. But if they're all in the same comment, they don't count.
No, they still count.
They all have to be individually in comments.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to us, and we will be here next week with a brand new episode.
Have an amazing week.
And take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.